programs where you can buy weight equipment for your fire station and get a doctor to come in and do a physical and get immunizations. And actually, one of the programs allows to bring in a nutritionist to teach the firefighters how to eat. And that's a big thing with 40% of our firefighters dying from heart attacks. Getting them prepared physically and mentally to do the job is going to go a long way to reducing those heart attacks and strokes in the fire service.
That's right. And it's easier to, I guess, embrace these new traditions now that you have a new fire service coming in, new people, and probably more health and safety conscious.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. We're getting the firefighters now that enjoy working out, as in before in the 80s and 90s, maybe the firefighters weren't really excited about working out as much as they are today.
It was certainly more about tradition. Leather lungs, I think, is what they used to call them before SCBAs. It's hard to believe that you wouldn't be wearing those self-contained breathing apparatus. We also want to talk about, as you mentioned, going to Mexico and advising them on their fire. You supported the 60,000 acre fire. Asthma fire? Is that what that?
AMSA.
AMSA.
It's a Mexican steel manufacturer, and they have vast land holdings in Mexico. We've been going there for years, and they've been coming here for years doing reciprocal training, and we have a very close relationship with them. I believe we've been training them for about 5 years. And they have not only steel mills, but they have mines. They have coal mines that provide coal for the steel mills and for the power in Mexico, and they have vast land holdings. They've also started to do a lot of they're trying to protect some of the endangered species in Mexico. And so they have these huge ranches where they have these animals that are coming in, and this was the major concern, that some of the endangered species in Mexico were actually going to be threatened by this wildfire. And that was one of the big reasons that they asked for assistance from the FSA to go down there and assist in this.
So you were helping, not just this, I was picturing just this plant. You had 60,000 acres you're looking at safeguarding.
And it was it was really out in the middle of nowhere. It was about a 35-minute helicopter flight for me to get to the fire. And the ground troops took them because of the road conditions down there. They were taking 8 hours to get ground resources into this fire, and it was
no water, huh?
And there was no water. There was no supplies were limited, so they were having to truck in supplies for the firefighters. And I'm used to being on big fires in California and Oregon and having a lot of resources. And when I arrived at the fire, there were only 40 firefighters there and 2 fire engines. And so it was, I said, well, where are all the resources? And they go, this is it. And here, we'll introduce you. And so I landed and I met the firefighters and had lunch with them on the line. And they told me through my translator what issues they were having. And then I went back and worked on correcting some of those issues. And the goal is for the next fire is that we won't have any of the problems that they had on this fire. Luckily, nobody was hurt. Everything went smooth. They protected the endangered species that we were worried about, and things went really well on the fire. Everybody is stretched thin in Texas and Mexico from a fire standpoint, and it took them a week before they were able to get any government firefighters in to this particular fire. So it was mainly not only the firefighters from the steel mill, but it was also local ranches were providing their cowboys on horseback with backpack pumps, just trying to do what they can to extinguish this fire. And when you get used to the resources we have in the United States and you see something like that in another country, you really appreciate what you have back in the United States.
Oh, certainly, Wayne. Talking with Wayne Eder, who's director of our own Fire Science Academy, and what a variety of things you have to accomplish, or that you choose to accomplish in this position. That's very impressive. That's quite an experience. And how are we doing? Obviously you host Rookie School for the agencies here, the BLM. And
we're getting ready for that. I believe that's in May. We have the Rookie School for the wildland firefighters where they actually come out and live with us for a week in tents. We're excited about that. That's always a big annual event at the FSA. And working with, they'll do also some advanced training for some of the engine bosses and some of the other positions that are out on wildland fires. So we'll see those personnel during the same week.
We often rely on the Fire Science Academy, as you said, for those kinds of support services and training those firefighters sometimes in the classroom as well as on the props, right, if they're signing up? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, and we get the basic firefighters from the refineries and the private fire departments that come in. This week we have 2 refineries actually out working with us for company special classes, and tomorrow's an exciting day because Kingsley Field Fire Department from Oregon, back up in near where I was fire chief, they're coming down and doing their annual aircraft firefighting refresher.
Oh, really?
And so it's going to be exciting because I'll see some of the guys that I worked with up in Oregon and Northern California, and so we're excited. They come down on a regular basis, and we see them about 3 to 4 times a year, just as they try to get all of their firefighters through the fire training.
So I guess back to that idea too, if you're going to be seeing aircraft and the airport might be a busy place, we don't have a landing field out there. With the guard co-location idea, are you going to be seeing some big changes on the campus, Wayne, or do you know much about it yet?
Yes, we're looking at the armory being built out there, and then they're going to be moving into some of our classrooms and some of our other buildings that they're going to renovate to be more friendly for the guard use, and then some of the stuff that we'll be using will pretty much stay the same.
Okay.
We do have heard that they're going to be putting some helicopters at Elko Airport, so that won't affect us too much, and that's okay. We're happy with that because helicopters bring that added issue of protecting them when they take off and they land, and we're not in a position to be able to do that.
Right.
So Elko Fire has that handled, and you know, we support that. Elko Fire Department comes out and does their annual aircraft firefighting training to make sure that they're meeting the FAA requirements, so we work with them closely every year also.
So we'll be able to see some more movement on that National Guard co-location idea, do you think, in the next few months, or you're waiting for the federal appropriation?
We're waiting for the final federal appropriation. We don't
Okay.
see any problem with that. We're hoping by July 1st to know a little bit more.
Great.
So.
Okay, well, definitely have you back and talk more about that as well.
Great.
There's a common question that people have. If you are a student, say, at Great Basin College, can you get an associate degree? I know they had tried at times to get a fire science degree here. Sometimes they have enough support for it, but can you get an associate degree at your academy?
Currently, we do not have a degree program at the academy, and that's one of the things. In October, I was up at the main campus of the university, and that's one of the things I was pushing for. So it's something, my boss was down this week, and we talked about it a little bit more. We said that we want to pursue that. And now that we're starting to get some of these other issues addressed, like Pro Board and some of our long-term funding issues, the accreditation, now we're going to start getting into a time period where we can concentrate on issues like that. I have no idea why it didn't work out before, but it's something that I definitely would like to see in the long term. So we're going to start looking at that again in the fall and start working on it again.
Oh, good, because I get that question a lot, since I've, people that really do want to get that fire science degree, and so.
I think it'd be great for the community.
Yeah, absolutely. And they have a few dozen courses under their belt, and they might be able to apply to that. With the passing of Milt Glick, are there any concerns, obviously, about the future, or how do you feel going forward?
Moving forward, we were very devastated by the passing of President Glick. The entire staff was just in mourning and shock is the best way I could describe it. It happened the day that I returned from Mexico, and so when I went to work that Monday morning, the entire staff was just devastated. And they had the memorial service last week, and some of our Reno staff was able to attend that. President Glick was a big supporter of the Fire Science Academy, and we're going to miss him for that. But the things have changed over the last 3 or 4 years when we had our rocky period, and now that we're self-sufficient pretty much, and we're moving ahead with some long-term funding issues that we're really working hard on, I think that we're going to be fine. That's not an issue. But we do want to continue to have that support for long-term funding, because that's critical to we want to make sure that the Fire Science Academy is here 100 years from now. And without long-term federal funding, that can't happen. So we really do need that.
Okay, and you have the support of City, County, Elko Convention Visitors Authority.
Everybody has been great.
Right.
City of Carlin, City of Elko County. The Visitors and Convention Center just voted recently to continue our financial sustainability plan, which is great. We're able to use some of that money to upgrade and take care of our long-term maintenance issues. We don't want the place to crumble around us. It's a big facility. We're 426 acres. So trying to take care of some of the props and the buildings. This year we're going to be doing some roof repairs. We're going to be doing some weather sealing of the buildings and make sure that that fire academy is here for a long time, because that was a big investment by both the community and by the state of Nevada to build that facility, and we want to take care of it and make sure that it's always pristine. And if you come out and visit, you'll notice that the lawns always look great.
They do, yes.
And that the buildings are always clean. You know, our staff is very diligent at taking care of it, and I'm very proud of them. I walk the campus every day to make sure there's no little issues popping up, and we have the greatest staff in the world that I've ever worked with.
I know one of my favorite stories is a fire captain out picking up leaves from the yard in a windstorm because firefighters are pretty meticulous about their gear. So, yeah, and keeping everything in great order. Well, we just want to mention quickly in the last minute or so that the night burns are underway and everybody's welcome.
Yep, our next night burn is tonight, so a lot of people won't know about that, but May 26th is actually the night burn.
Great.
And if you want to know the night burn schedule, you can call the Fire Science Academy at 754-6003. If you have questions about helping the Fire Science Academy with our long-term funding issues, we're more than happy to talk to you about it. You can call my office again, 754-6003. And we always appreciate the local media supporting us as much as you do, because without you, the Fire Science Academy would not get the word out. And you know, you've been a big supporter, Lori, and we thank you very much for it.
Well, thank you, Wayne, very much, and for being our guest and our director since August of last year. You've already done amazing things, and I know there's a lot more to come with your leadership. So thank you very much. We'll look forward to seeing you again.
All right, thank you.
Elko Newsmakers on News 10 is being brought to you by Barrick North America. Every person going home safe and healthy every day. To find out more about Barrick or current job opportunities, log on to barrick.com.